structures. Okay. All right. So we're starting. Okay. Good. So we said this is the cerebral fissure, right? And you can see this brain, the dura mater is still there, right? And this one we removed it. So the cerebral fissure or longitudinal fissure, okay? And then we have here the lobe. I'll ask about it, frontal lobe. And then I'll say, what's that lobe? You say parietal. And then I'll say, what's that lobe? You say temporal. What's that lobe? Occipital. Okay. So there's usually 3 or so lobes, and then a few of these other structures. So these bumps, we said they're called. See this bump right here? You can look on the board if you like. Gyrus. The bumps are gyrus. It's on the board. And then the lines, we said these are sulcus. Okay. So the lines or the grooves are the ones that are called sulcus, and the bumps, these ones are the ones that are called gyrus. Okay. So gyrus and sulcus. So I'll be specific. If I put a pin over here or a pin over here, you can say it could either be frontal lobe or it could be, sulcus, right? But I'll ask for a line, then you say sulcus. If I ask for a lobe, then you say frontal. So you have to be paying attention. Some of these questions you can even answer them without actually looking here because it is descriptive already. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to that in the exam. Okay, and this is where the falx cerebri will be located. You know, that dural septa, which is the or dural folds. Okay, and this is where the tentorium cerebelli is located, and this is the toughest of them all because it cradles the cerebellum. I mean the cerebrum from the cerebellum. Okay, and then this is the cerebellum, and then this is the cerebral hemisphere, and this is the vermis. It's kind of dinged here a little bit, but this is the vermis. If I put a pin,
turn it around. Oh, there you go.
If I put a pin here, and I'm saying what's that part of that part of the brain, if I say cerebellum, you get it real quick. So I'll just say what's that part of the brain, and you say vermis. If it's on the cut one, I can put it here. You see what I'm saying? If you can picture that in there, or put it there, you still say vermis. Okay, all right. And so we go down to the other side. Now that we're done with everything. And so see this one right here, which is the same as this. There's optic chiasm right there. So this is the optic cranial nerve number 1, and this is the olfactory cranial nerve number. This is optic number 2. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go fast. Optic number 2, optic cranial nerve number 2, olfactory cranial nerve number 1. So the number 1 is the one for smell, which is right here. Okay, and then this one shows a nice one. You see this stump facing forward? That's the oculomotor number 3, controls muscles of the eye. This is for sensory vision. Okay. Now the one at the back here, which is also this stump here, that's the trigeminal number 5. So olfactory number 1, optic number 2, oculomotor number 3, trigeminal number 5, oculomotor number 3, optic number 2, and then olfactory number 1. Okay. And then we got lucky here a little bit. We got remnants even on this one, which is really where the vestibulocochlear number 8 will be located right there, which is like right there too. If you want to picture that, it's the vestibulocochlear number 8, and this is the trigeminal number 5. Vestibulocochlear number 8, carrying vision, hearing, and balance, impulses. Okay, and then here usually I put a placeholder for the last, which is kind of like right there, which is cranial nerve number 8. Number 12, which is right at the last part of the, see this is the medulla, and the spinal cord starts here. Okay, so that my hand is not in the way. So the spinal cord starts right there, and then because if I remove this, it will remove everything. So if I put a pin right at the end there, you say vestibular, you say hypoglossal number 12. So hypoglossal number 12, which is somewhere here. Even if it's not there, if I put a pin right before the medulla ends, before the spinal cord starts, you still say hypoglossal number 12. Okay? And then this is vestibulocochlear number 8, trigeminal number 5, oculomotor number 3, optic number 2, and then here olfactory number 1. Okay? So those are the cranial nerves. Those are the ones that I can come in the exam because those are the ones that are there. So obviously this will come, this and that, because those are the obvious ones. And then this one, hypoglossal number 12. Okay? So there's 3 or 4 cranial nerves, 3 or 4 lobes, 5 or so nuclei inside, maybe more. Okay? Because there's more of it. So after we are done with all those external parts, and a gyrus or a sulcus may come too on the top. So now, okay, I don't know which side is better. Okay, can you really see it nicely? Okay, so again, you see, boom, this is the corpus callosum right there. All right, and this is the fornix. Okay, and if you could see this little white dot right there, that would be the anterior commissure. It's not very clear. I don't know if your resolution will pick that up, but it's the same little dot that I drew right here. See that? Right there. There's a little kind of white dot. Maybe you can see it live, but that's the, right there would be the anterior commissure, right? And then we said this is the third ventricle, and this is the thalamus, right there. Okay, and then you see how this thing right here, this will be the pineal body, right? And this line that goes down from it would be the posterior commissure, right? Posterior commissure. And then this one, I forgot to draw it on the board, the anterior colliculus. I'm gonna go draw it and put it up there. See this? It looks pinkish like a little bit. So pineal body or pineal gland, anterior colliculus. And it's right on top of the corpora quadrigemina. All right? And you could see the cerebral aqueduct right there. Do you see that? Cerebral aqueduct, which joins the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle. Right? And then here, you could see this thin film, right? The septum pellucidum. Right? And then here, you could see the choroid plexus. Do you see the choroid plexus in there? These are the blood vessels that are specialized, lined with the ependymal cells that create cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so if I put a pin over here and I'm talking about what is chamber of that, what is that chamber of the brain? You say lateral ventricle. Chamber of the brain, third ventricle. Chamber of the brain, fourth ventricle. And what's that part? This will be the cerebral aqueduct. You see how smooth it is? And if you say what's that nucleus, then corpora quadrigemina, pineal body, posterior commissure, and then this is the anterior colliculus. I'm gonna go put it on the board right now. Anterior colliculus, and then of course this is the anterior commissure, and this is the posterior commissure. Thalamus, hypothalamus, and then down here the pituitary is almost always cut. Okay, so this long part right there under the fourth ventricle, this will be the medulla, and it tapers down to the spinal cord, and this is the central canal of the spinal cord, right? So this is the medulla oblongata, and this is the pons, and this is the cerebral peduncle right there. You see that? Okay, and this is the optic chiasm. The mammillary body is kind of sort of cut down here, but you have yeah, and then the pituitary will be in the middle, but it's cut off. Okay, this is optic chiasm. All right, and so those are the parts really. That's it. Arbor vitae, remember, it looks like a tree or leaf. Okay, so